The price of betrayal, when data turns to weaponry. In the digital age, our lives are rendered in data. Every click, every purchase, every online interaction leaves a trace. We are told this data will make our lives easier, more efficient. But what happens when this portrait of our lives is wielded, not for our benefit, but for profit, even exploitation? This is not a hypothetical question. This is the stark reality exposed by the recent convictions of executives at Epsilon, the data broker that trafficked in the personal information of millions. These executives, driven by greed, treated sensitive data like a commodity to be bought and sold. They exploited the trust we place in companies to safeguard our information. They targeted the most vulnerable among us, the elderly, the financially insecure, those struggling with illness. This case is a chilling reminder that the erosion of privacy is not a victimless crime. It has real, devastating consequences. The Epsilon scandal is a potent symbol of a system that has lost its moral compass. We live in an age of surveillance capitalism, where our personal data is the raw material for a new form of economic extraction. This case must serve as a wake-up call. We can no longer afford to be passive observers in this digital revolution. It is time to reclaim our data, our privacy, and our future. Architects of exploitation inside the Epsilon scandal. At the heart of this scandal lies Epsilon, a data broker that amassed vast troves of consumer data. Epsilon promised businesses valuable insights into consumer behavior. What they didn't reveal was their willingness to cross ethical lines. Executives, blinded by profit, built a business model on the backs of unsuspecting individuals. They aggregated data from various sources, creating detailed profiles of consumers. This information, far from innocuous, included names, addresses, shopping habits, and even medical conditions. This treasure trove of personal data became a weapon in the hands of scammers and fraudsters. Epsilon executives, knowingly or unknowingly, enabled this exploitation. They created a marketplace where vulnerability was a commodity to be traded for profit. Testimonies from former employees painted a disturbing picture of a corporate culture that prioritized profit over ethics. Internal warnings about the potential for misuse were ignored. The pursuit of profit trumped any concerns about the potential harm to individuals. This case lays bare the dangers of a data industry operating with little oversight or accountability. It is a stark reminder that the allure of profit can easily eclipse ethical considerations. It underscores the urgent need for greater transparency and regulation in the data broker industry. Voices from the rubble. Reputation has been shattered. Trust is completely broken. We want justice. We need accountability. The human cost of the Epsilon scandal is immeasurable. Behind the cold statistics of data breaches are real people whose lives were upended. The courtroom echoed with heartbreaking testimonies from victims, many of whom were elderly and/or in poor health. They spoke of lost savings, shattered trust, and the constant fear of being targeted again. One elderly woman, who is a cancer survivor, recounted how she was bombarded with fraudulent calls after her information was sold. She lost thousands of dollars to scams promising miracle cures. A young family, struggling to make ends meet, shared their story of financial ruin after falling prey to a phishing scheme. Their credit scores plummeted, making it impossible to secure a loan or rent an apartment. These stories, each more harrowing than the last, painted a devastating picture of the human cost of data exploitation. The emotional toll was palpable. Victims spoke of feeling violated, betrayed, and powerless. The trial provided a platform for these victims to share their stories and demand justice. Their voices served as a powerful reminder that behind the abstract notion of data points are real lives, real families, and real suffering. A clarion call. Reclaiming our data, reclaiming our rights. The Epsilon scandal is not an isolated incident. It is a symptom of a larger systemic issue, the erosion of privacy in the digital age. We are constantly tracked, analyzed, and nudged by algorithms that claim to know us better than we know ourselves. Our data is used to predict our behavior, manipulate our choices, and even influence our emotions. This unchecked data collection and analysis have profound implications for our autonomy, our constitutional republic, and our very sense of self. The time for complacency is over. We must reclaim control over our data and demand greater transparency and accountability from corporations. We need robust data privacy laws that protect individuals, not corporations. We must push for regulations that give individuals more control over their data and limit how it is collected, used, and shared. The Epsilon case highlights the urgent need for a paradigm shift. We must move away from a system where our data is treated as a commodity to be bought and sold. Instead, we must create a digital ecosystem that respects our privacy, empowers individuals, and fosters trust. This is not just about protecting our data, it is about protecting our fundamental rights and freedoms in the digital age.
Riders on the storm, riders on the storm. Into this house we're born.